Welcome to the OGNERDS Podcast. We are the OG3. I'm joined here by my co-host. My name is Moose, and my wife Alyssa, and our friend Spencer over here, SGS. So we are doing this podcast to talk about all things video games, movies, and more. And how are you guys doing today? I mean, I know how Alyssa's doing because obviously I spent the day with her. So her day's going all right as far as I'm aware, other than like some unmotivated feelings about streaming. But streaming's hard. So, like, I get that.
No, most definitely. I mean, hello, I'm doing good. I understand the whole the feeling of not wanting to stream because for a long time, I mean, I think for like 2 years straight, I did streaming almost like 8 hours Monday through Friday, Monday through Saturday, actually, just 8 hours, and like it's hard. Believe it or not, it's a thing that like if you want to take seriously, you gotta put a lot of time and effort into it, and if you're just not have that mindset of like sitting there for like hours on end in your chair, just trying to be relatable and actually having a conversation with your chat. Because most of the time you're talking to yourself and you try to make people feel like welcomed and like having a great time. It's a whole process. I understand. I understand the pain.
Yeah. As some people might hear or may not hear, I might just edit it out. I don't know. We'll figure that out. She's in the middle of playing a game right now, but yeah, I wanted to start off talking about um some some topics here that I've written down. I wanted to talk about the Mario movie, because I
Hmm.
just went see that yesterday with Alyssa and my sister, and I gotta say it was far better than I originally thought it was going to be.
Hmm.
Like I don't know what I thought, to be honest with you. I thought it was gonna be kind of like mediocre or like super family friendly. I mean, it was family friendly, obviously, because it's Nintendo and it's Mario, but it was like just far better than I expected, and it's, in my opinion, a must see just from all the like the writing, and the story's simple, but like it's not like you should expect something that's like a Mario movie to be super
Hmm.
intricate, I should say.
Of course.
But like
Yeah.
the animation's super good and the soundtrack's amazing, and I think for anyone that wanted to go see it, it'd be like a top tier video game movie, as a like in regards to the other movies that we've seen. Obviously, they've been getting better.
Oh, 100%. I mean, let's take a look at it. The Detective Pikachu. Everyone thought that was gonna be a flop. As everything going from like 2D to 3D. Everyone's like, oh, it's gonna suck, but it popped off. It did really well, and I think there's actually in the process of making a sequel for that one. Sonic, which is super out of left field, did extremely well, spanning over two sequels now, possibly a third in the works, depending on what they want to do. And with Mario, I mean, I think you said everything that needs to be said, but like my whole thing is when people went to the movie and like, critics were like, "Oh, well, there's no story, you're not gonna understand it," and stuff like this. I'm just like, Mario has never been a video game series that had a great story. It was never supposed to be this fantastic, like state of the art, like this story is gripping and pulls everyone in. It's just stuff like that I feel like they're out of touch with because you walk into a movie, you want to be entertained, and I think that's what Mario did. And with all its games and stuff like that, it did a fantastic job. I just feel like there's too much like expectations. Like for me, like when I first heard about it, I was like, no, it's Illumination. They did Circle with Me, which I really liked, and like the animations are pretty solid. So I knew the animations would be really great, but I didn't have much expectation for the story. I thought the story was gonna be pretty bland. But I think they did a great job, like weaving in everything, like Mario Kart, Smash Bros, and all this stuff. Because it's a callback to those every single one, almost every single one of those games within the Mario movie, which is fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely. And like for anyone that plans to see it, I think it's made for not just families and like new viewers, but I also think that it's super especially made for the fans of Mario because like if you really pay attention to all the bits of like different details in the movie, like even picture frames, video game cabinets, hint hint, anybody that's gonna see the movie, like you see like stuff you
Yeah.
recognize and hear things you
Oh yeah.
recognize. And that when you brought up Sonic, it like this whole these new like video game movies that are coming out or being shown, like for instance when they like did the whole Sonic redesign, like you can see here in this picture, that's crazy. That
Yeah.
like that people complain because they saw this monstrosity here, and then we got regular Sonic basically afterwards, which is
It's so,
crazy.
dude, right? It's so weird that Sega. I know Sega had to have some pull in this movie, right? And
Right.
obviously, and someone showed them this trailer, and they're like, "This is what we want," out of Sonic. And I was like, anyone with a brain, anyone who sees that's just anthropomorphic version of Sonic, just like shouts, just lazy, and
Right.
like I feel like I think it's just the change overall. I think that's the beauty about the fan base and stuff like that. Actually knowing the material and knowing the character, we shouted from the rooftops and just said, "Hey, change the character," and he changed it. And just that alone boosted so much hype for the movie. Just like it just goes to show that the closer you are to the source material, well, not the story, but the character itself, it will sell the movie.
Yeah, I mean, it was so good that they even made like a second one, which was super good. Where they introduced like Supersonic and stuff like that. And now they're even making like a Knuckles show. I saw they announced that they're making a show like specifically based off of Knuckles with the same actor, Idris Elba, and like it's gonna be. It looks like, I mean, obviously just from the screenshot you can't tell anything. It's just saying that they're
Yeah.
doing it, but like I'm actually super excited to see what they do with that, and excited to see like more good video game movies to be made in the future, because even like TV shows like Last of Us is like super amazing and almost goes book for book, step by step, you know, through the video game but in movie format, and it works so well.
No, most definitely, because like I think that like you brought Last of Us, and it's like if you watch it, is that like you said, like shot for shot from the game to the movie, with things like no, some of it being altered and stuff like that, which makes sense, playing it as a video game standpoint. Yeah, like it looks great. Last of Us was a fantastic game. Then trying to port all that over to a movie, TV series, just doesn't work very well. So them making adjustments and stuff that works really, really well, especially changes some of the material to make everything fit with like nowadays. And I think a good explanation. I don't know if you ever seen the Invincible TV series on Amazon Prime.
Which TV series is it?
The Invincible. It's like,
Invincible. I think isn't
yeah, it's
that
like those.
that like comic superhero,
Yeah,
but it's
exactly. Yeah.
like super brutal and he's not really a hero.
Yeah, it was the thing. The thing is Superman having a dad, and his dad just being evil. I mean, it's kind of like that.
I haven't
It's
watched it, but I've heard of
I
it.
I I highly suggest it. And like the reason why I love that show so much is because it's a shot for shot from the comic book, but with things improved and changed. Even the creator, I forgot, I think it was something Kirkman. He came out and even said that changing certain things from the comic book to the show, because he became a better writer and wanted to feel like he can improve upon it, and which he did. And that's the same thing with Last of Us. And I think that's why their shows really pop off. I think video game like TV shows and movies can really pop off if you understand the fundamentals of the game and the characters and be able to provide that in a different way than like, no, if I turn on Last of Us right now, I won't have to watch the show. I think that's what they really did. That's what makes it work. You know what I mean? Taking what Mario is, or Last of Us, or Sonic, or another video game character, and you understand to deep for like their deep like character and everything about them, which really like makes the show or movie super interesting because like, you don't need to know everything about them to actually like it. You just need to know who they are. Like Joel and Ellie.
Yeah, yeah, you just need to know like who the character is and what they stand for, and you really don't
Hmm.
need like that's the when they do the video game movies the best, or the comic movies or whatever movie, like as long as you know like who this character is, you don't have to necessarily know the content it comes from.
Oh, 100%. And I think a movie's best. I know this might sound weird, but I always say if a movie can provide a sequel without watching the first one, I think that's a great movie in my opinion. Due to the fact it's a great sequel, because due to the fact is that I don't need to go back. It's like playing like Halo. You don't need to play 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 4 to understand 5. You can go back and play them and understand what is leading up to this point, but you really don't have to. Because I think the games, well, not really much, but in like Infinite, does a really good job of like explaining what happened, and not really having to go back to replay all these games to understand what's going on. 'Cause they remind you and let you know what's going on, which is really nice. I think that's what makes a really good
Right.
sequel, a really good series in general.
Yeah, I agree with that. Now, I wanted to kind of shift gears a little bit away from the movies and shows and kind of hear what you wanted to talk about today, because uh, I have a little bit more like written down here, but like I wanted to
Yeah.
kind of hear what you brought to the table and kind of explore those topics.
Well, I, like this is like a big shift. But I'm talking about like the whole idea of like, Xbox and its ecosystem and where it's gonna be in the next 10 years. Um, I feel like right now because recently like Sony dropped. I'll show a picture of it. Sorry, but Sony I think Sony and Microsoft dropped their sales for the last like couple months, and Sony is just outpacing them. So I think they have like 4 million consoles sold, and Xbox is like trailing behind with like only 500,000 but in the last couple months. And it's just like if that's not a wake up call for Microsoft or Xbox, just to like okay, hey, what's wrong with the console? What do we need to do about it? Because the biggest issue I have right now with the console is with the game that's coming out, Redfall. Redfall, made by Arcane Studios. That's coming out, I think May. I think sometime in early May, and they released the specs of it. So pretty much being a 4K 30 performance quality mode. And with most games like that, you usually come with a quality and a performance. Performance, probably like hitting like 1440p at 60 or 1080p 60 stuff like that. And it blows my mind to like hear them say 4K 30. That's it. Nothing gonna change because Xbox always touted about oh we have the highest performing console. Our console is powerful enough to push frame rate and stuff like that and quality. It's just great. But now with Redfall coming out and seeing that Arcane Studios is just pushing out a 4K 30 is kind of lackluster. It's kind of like a slap in the face as we've been sitting here winning games for the Xbox. Which, mind you, I don't care if Xbox drops this game and then drops on PC or Sony. I really don't care. I just want Xbox to develop a game that we all can be proud of. I've been playing Xbox since I was a teenager, a young kid. From the original Xbox to the Series X now, and like, don't get me wrong, it does a great job. The console's amazing. I love it. I play it all the time, and it's frustrating to know that like I feel like there's a lot of fatigue now. There's a lot of people getting upset. I'm not sure how you feel about that, Tucker. And like, how do you feel about your Series X? And like if you feel like it's kind of let down.
Right. No, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I love my Series X. I gotta say
Hmm.
that. But I also like bought a TV that basically would maximize its usage so I could
Yeah.
get all the features out of it. And for what I use it for, it's great. And I think I agree with you though, like the whole like limiting, I mean, I get it, it's harder to do, I guess, like 4K 60, 4K 120, HDR,
Yeah,
all
of
the
course.
different things, but like I would say at least to do 4K 60 if you can't go beyond that, because even I, like, as much as I have been wanting to get back into like streaming on my Xbox, I feel kind of hesitant because my computer, even though it can't do 4K, it can do the 1080p, 1440p, I think, like 120 or even further, but like as far as like recording, you can't really record anything at 4K 120 on your Xbox unless you're like using the share feature or streaming. And like we nowadays want to get as much as we can get out of the system and games we're playing. And so it's kind of weird
Yeah.
whenever companies don't like want to make their game as the best it can be.
No, exactly, and I think that's like the next thing I also want to mention is that Game Pass. Game Pass is a subscription made by Microsoft, in which they drop all the day one titles. I know like Redfall's will come out there, Starfield's will come out there day one, and all that stuff. And I feel like this actually been hurting their ecosystem a lot too. Like you said, like you want these games to be the best they can be out of the box. We pay people who don't Game Pass want to pay $70 now pays $100 to get a game that's fully functional with their Series X. But now it seems like that's just it's a wishing tale. It's a tale now for. It's like everything's going to as Game Pass. I think that's kind of giving the games or the devs this fatigue. It's like oh well, like we can drop these games in Game Pass and not worry about throwing it away and then move on to the next thing. It was like back then. Like if you look at like like God, what's like Psychonauts? No, I can't. As the one too, I can't name a game on Xbox that dropped that just had tremendous success. I mean, Ori and the Will of the Wisp. I mean, that was the one game that blew up, and it was a great game on Xbox. That came on Xbox. It was just fantastic. And I feel like now it's like things come out now. It just seems like oh, we'll just do less for it later, do less, and push it out, and just hopefully people can get over it when we start updating it. I'm like, we spend $70 to buy a game that utilizes the console to its full capability. But now you say, oh, let's drop it on Game Pass, and just hopefully we can get to it when we can fix it and improve it. I'm like, I don't want that. I'd rather go pay $70 on a game that's complete than 15 on a game that's not fully utilized console and just absolutely just like spits in the face of who buys Series X and who wants that 4K 60 or that 1080p 120. And I think this is the biggest issue we have as well. I think the Xbox community has right now, and I think a lot of people are finally seeing through the cracks and realizing that Xbox is it's so weird because a lot of people complain about hardware and stuff like that. I'm like, Microsoft
Right.
isn't like Sony. The reason why Microsoft and Sony sell the consoles at a loss because they're hoping that the software they make will produce the revenue to like, get rid of that deficit in the consoles. And I think that's the problem right now. It's like I think Sony does a great job of making games that are compelling, that pull you in, that are cinematic and stuff like that. Compared to Xbox, who drops these weird games that no one asks. I don't know about Pentiment. I don't know if you ever played Pentiment. I saw gameplay on it, and I was like, who was asking for this? You know what I mean? Who was like, yeah, I
Right.
want a side scrolling text adventure that will I can sit there. No, I'm not sure if people want that stuff, but the majority of people want something to engage them and pull them in. It's like, why would I spend all like $15 a month on a game like Pentiment, which like is gonna cost like $20 to buy? It's just confusing. And just that's why I'm like personally for myself, I'm starting to feel kind of fatigued with Xbox. I've been thinking about buying a PlayStation 5 because I can keep my Xbox for the third party stuff, but first party stuff can go to Sony. And which is kind of disappointing because I want to keep my Xbox. I want to play my Xbox as much as I can, but it seems like right now I'm gonna start hitting a wall where it's like, oh well, first party exclusive are just gonna be like not utilized and be ashed. And I just gotta give it off to Sony because like Sony's been doing it for so long now, and they have this damn to a formula. But it seems like Microsoft, every single time they get their hands on something, they end up either destroying it Well, one, they give something out that's half-assed and they leave it there. You know what I mean?
Right, yeah, no, I feel that because like every game now it feels like has a day one patch or something
Oh
because
yeah.
it wasn't like done out of the
I was
box, and
like it like dropped. Yeah.
right, like I get games have bugs and stuff, and it's great that you can get updates for these games, not like the old times where
Mm-hmm.
like the game was the game and that was it.
Mm-hmm.
so
Oh, yeah.
so
Dude,
you would have to deal
dude,
with whatever quirky, glitches or bugs you had.
it was crazy. Like 10 years ago, like when the 360 came out and the PlayStation 3, like once you got your game in your hand, like that game was completed. That game was fresh. It was done. There was patches. Don't get me wrong, but like nothing so sufficient on day one. Which and like I remember playing Watch Dogs for the first time. I put the disc in, I closed the tray, and I read the disc for a second and booted right up. There's no well I install the disc, I install the game. Oh, guess what? Day one patch. It's 52 gigabytes. Like here's another 3 or 4 hours waiting, depending on your internet, or waiting. I hope you can play this game. And I
Right.
don't like that. I think that's so stupid because I just think that's so disrespectful. Because like what is it? Like everyone's coming out. I remember when the PlayStation 5 and Xbox came out, and I was like, oh, well, we're going to increase the price of our software game to 70 rather than 60. And I'm just like, okay, well, I mean, $10 extra, that's not too bad. But we're still getting mediocre crap at launch. Why is that? I just don't understand that.
Yeah, I mean, it's so weird too because like you were saying with Redfall, like I've been hearing some pretty sketchy stuff going on, like
Mm-hmm.
it's not gonna be as good, and like Arcane, a studio that makes like Dishonor and Dishonored
Mm-hmm.
2 would both, in my opinion, both very good games, and even what is it, Deathloop. Like I've
Yep.
only played a little bit of Deathloop, but from what I've played, it's a pretty great game, but like I don't know like what's going on with Redfall and why they're like doing what they're doing with that, but like
Mm-hmm.
it looked pretty interesting when they revealed it, but now I'm like questioning it. Same I get the same feeling kind of with Starfield from
Me
Bethesda,
too.
and
Yep.
I really hope that it's an amazing game that I'll play over and over and over again like Skyrim, but I have my doubts.
Dude, me too. It's so funny you mentioned Deathloop because you think about this. Deathloop, when released, it was a PlayStation limited exclusive, right? And the game was amazing. The quality, the frame rate, amazing, right? But as soon pulls in this like stupid buys Bethesda and says no, Redfall is gonna be exclusive to Xbox, and they can't even get a performance mode. Like, are you kidding me? I'm like, what do you want? Like, what's the difference between Sony and Xbox here? Is Sony? I mean, I think Xbox cares more about quantity than quality, which is the biggest issue right now. I hate it. I hate it so much.
Right.
It just blows my mind.
Right. And it's so weird because when you think of like, okay, Redfall supposed to be like a AAA game, but then you
Mm-hmm.
got games like Fortnite, which you would think like, yeah, it's like super up there in terms of like quality now. But like when it started out, it was super simple. It felt like it was fun, but it was super simple. And now you look at it and you can run that game at like 4K 120 or even I guess 1080. I don't know if it runs at full 4K on the Xbox, but whenever I play that game, I almost have zero issues, and it almost always comes down to like internet connectivity, which is not part of the game's fault.
No, yeah.
But like the game looks great now. The gameplay is amazing, even though it's been out for forever. Like that, I'll give it that. Like it's had more time on its hands than Redfall, but like I don't think there's an excuse really to keep games locked at 30 any which way unless
There
you have
isn't.
a poor for performing system, and
Well,
Xbox Series X is not a poor performing system.
that's what I'm telling you. Xbox has been touting how it's the most powerful console out to date right now, and they're struggling to keep this game at 4K 60, or at least 1440p 60. Because I play some games in 1440p 60, and they look phenomenal. Especially since it's an FPS. I'm not a big FPS person, but believe me, 30 to 60 in an FPS shooting a FPS game is a
Huge
big
difference.
difference. Huge
Huge.
difference. And it makes me upset because like these people are over here sitting here like, oh, or like, oh, I don't know if it's Arcane or Xbox, but like I swear to God, I think someone sitting there and being like, you know what, we're on the most powerful console right now. It's like out here it can do a bunch of different things. I got you, 4K 30 for an FPS, and know what else? There's no release date for a performance mode. And no, there's the release date, but later on, in the future. And I've spent $500 on this console to use it. Not to use everything about it. I bought a TV like you did, and like I can't do it. What I mean? It just makes no sense to me that they're sitting here trying to, like, I'm surprised that no one sat there. Arcane was like, people are gonna hate this. You know what I mean? Because like an Xbox community is loyal. We care about Xbox, but it's crazy to see how people within the Xbox community shitting on Redfield. Even though these are the same people who sat there when PlayStation 5 and Xbox came out, saying like Redfall is gonna be the greatest exclusive, Starfield's gonna be the greatest exclusive, but it's so scary now knowing that like, okay, does Xbox actually care about their gaming division other than the console? Because like I have a bad feeling. This is what I keep talking about Game Pass. I love Game Pass, but like think about it, I think it was like almost like 14 million people subscribe to Game Pass, and that's a lot of money. That's $14 over $15 over 14 million people. And so say $10. That's $140 million a month for Xbox. That's crazy. And you tell me they can't take that money and generate a good game? Dude, indie games blow the fuck up on budgets of almost like $3 million,
Oh my
maybe even
gosh, yeah.
less. You know what I mean? Look at Stardew Valley, a one-person developed company had no clue how much this game was gonna blow up. It blew up. It's a favorite among almost every single gamer in that genre. I love it. I didn't play this type of genre. I saw it. I was like, this looks stupid. I played it. I loved it. So it's like there's talent at Xbox, but it's just like is the problem here that is it mismanaged, or like is Xbox just doesn't give a shit about quality? You know what I mean?
Right. No, I feel that. I I remember back in the Xbox 360 area, Alyssa, I don't know if you remember this, but like back during the non-Game Pass days and the Xbox 360 days, they
Yeah.
had games like on the Xbox Arcade, which were
Mm.
basically indie games, and there was like a game that as simple as like I don't know if it was $1 zombie game or $5 zombie game or something, but it was it was like a fun game as simple as it was. I think you were in like a single room out kind of outside and just zombies spawned in around you. And even that was fun and didn't really have any issues. But then you have these like crazy high budget games nowadays that like have all sorts of issues with them, and there really is no excuse. Like Game Pass is cool, I guess. Like I'm someone that prefers to own their games physically, and I
Of
like
course.
if I want to test out a game, I would just prefer to have like a demo that I could download for free. Um,
Mm.
but but like I think it's cool that people have the option of downloading a game and testing it out for a while it's there, and then it can, if you like it, you can buy it if you want to keep it, kind of thing. And it's even discounted a lot of the time because you have Game Pass. But I don't, me myself, find the time as a working person to play all of these different games
Mm.
like on Game Pass. And so for the longest time, I put off buying Game Pass Ultimate or even regular Game Pass and just opted for buying like the $60 1 year
Of
Xbox
course.
Live cards. And
Oh yeah.
now I am subscribed to Game Pass now just because it's easier for me to have to deal with that and just do like the automatic payments. But
No, and
it's
yeah, most
crazy,
definitely.
like you said.
It really is, and that's the thing though. Game Pass is so incredible, you know. If you think about it, if 3 games launched this year for $70, and so 3 times 7, that's almost 200. That's $210 a year, right? And spending buying 3 games. But Game Pass is first party exclusive, and a lot of third party games are coming to Game Pass. Only $15 a month. That is a bit cheaper, is it not? So it's like, I think it is, right? 15 times 12, I think it is. Or it's part of 5. I
I
want to do
mean,
mental
it's
math here, but
definitely more affordable than buying three $70 games.
exactly as I'm telling you. And so it's like, it's frustrating that like Xbox has a great system. Like they're great at making subscription services. They do. Like, look at Windows, like the Word mixed up. Word and Excel all can build in Office 365 that people pay monthly fee or no annual fee. But at Xbox, like they do a great job, but like but the Xbox does a great job at this. But they, God forbid, they can't make a fucking game. That's sorry, I'm gonna curse. They can't make a game that's actually worth playing. You know, worth sitting there, like putting the hours in. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's been a few games like Hi-Fi Rush that dropped. It have are is incredible. You know, I've heard great things about it. People are raving about it. People are like, oh, why has Xbox never talked about this game ever? Because Xbox believed it would fail. Xbox dropped it, a soft drop, not even thinking about it, and it blew up. So why is Xbox slapping the hand of these developers who do such a great job, but then ignore it? You know, and
Right.
it's just like with Starfield and Redfall. They sat there and told us how these games are their console defining exclusive. And these games don't even utilize the Xbox Series X's full potential. You know what I mean? Even listen,
Yeah.
I can understand asking for 4K 120 on the Xbox. I think that's impossible. There's no way that type of power can come from that machine. That's how it is. But 4K 60, now that's something that's doable. Like, come on. Like, I ain't asking for much. We're just asking for quality. That's all we want.
Yeah, like even if the game was 1080p 120, if the
Dude,
game
100%.
worked at launch and it was like a great game and it played good and the story was good or whatever, like people would be happy with that. But if it's a broken game at launch, it's hard
Yep.
to recover from that. I mean, a good example is like Cyberpunk. Like at launch, it was horrible. Like it was almost unplayable. And then they got it to a point where you could you could play it and it worked well, and now people are coming back to it, more and more each day, I
Oh,
think.
100%. Yeah.
So they improved it, which is great. But if it started out that way, I think it'd have a larger fan base than it does currently.
Dude, if Cyberpunk would have dropped in a state it was in now, like I talk about now, it would have been game of the year, and I had no cap about it. It's a fantastic. It's a Witcher, but in Cyberpunk. That's what it is, you know. And like, it's just like that's what just sucks. Cause like a lot of people, this is what I don't like what's called early access. Like I think such a cop out to put your game out there in early access just so you can fund the game more. Which I understand that some developers, maybe solo developers, there's like a 5-person team who do it themselves and rely on other people's money to fund it. Tunic was like shown off. It wasn't primarily an Xbox exclusive, you know. It was a solo developer who made this game, and Xbox grabbed it and gave him a shit ton of money to finish and polish it. And which Tunic is a great game. It's a solid, Zelda like, and it does a really great job at things that you wanted to do. And it's like those money to these devs, and like Cyberpunk, all the crap is going. As like you would think they want to avoid that, make sure that our software is good to go and can turn a profit for the console and make it worth owning a Series X. They don't care. They want the dollars. They want the empty. They want us to empty our wallets. You know what I mean? It's kind of like a Nintendo. You think about it, when Nintendo will slap its name on, I don't know, a rock and call it a limited release, that thing will sell out so fast. It was Sony. It plays
Right.
Sony go puts its hand on a video game and prays to it. It's a game that's a god. You know what I mean? It's a great game. It's crazy. Except for Spoken, that's pretty ass. But but then like Microsoft or Xbox also puts its hand in the game. Fucking, it smells like ass, and so much. And we just want to throw it away in the garbage. And so it's like that's just how it is right now, and it sucks. Like, I want Xbox to be great. I want it to be fantastic, but they just can't. For some reason, they can't keep the quality. They can't keep the games in this great quality that they talk about, and that's what makes me nervous with the future of Xbox. Is like, do they really care about their games? Do they really care about? They just care about selling software, selling Game Pass, which a lot of people talk about Game Pass fatigue. A lot of people believe that Game Pass is actually hurting these games rather than helping them, which make a lot of sense. I don't know. I think it's so weird. I think it's just so weird. I feel like Xbox is a situation where they have everything they need to be a profitable and great gaming company, but I just don't want to do that. I don't know if it's Phil Spencer who just not put his foot down and asked for quality, or it's just behind the scenes where people are just like drop the game, don't care what it is, drop the game. I hate when people say bad press. Any press is good press. And I feel like in the sense of being famous, yes, that's fine. As the more you talk about your name, more people will want to look into you and search you by name. But when a game's ass, look at Cyberpunk. The game is ass at launch, and people were funding the copy so much on Sony's platform on PlayStation that they removed Cyberpunk to be able to buy Cyberpunk on PlayStation. That's so sketchy. Even with CD Projekt Red, their stocks plummeted. It went to shit, and they finally came back to a point where it's like, oh, now we have to make 2 other Witcher games just to be able to make our money back. God, that's just so embarrassing. It's so embarrassing.
Yeah, I feel that. I know it's so crazy out there because I know for the past couple like Game Award shows, the what are they called, the God of War games, like I
Yeah,
always hear them getting reward awards because of course they're great games, they're well made, and people love them, but like you hear very few and far between anything for Xbox because like we just don't have any super crazy amazing games. Like Halo Infinite was supposed to be something that was like console
amazing. Yeah,
defining, yeah, definitive, and it was all right.
it was
I
mid.
played
It was
it.
so mid. Yeah,
um, the multiplayer is free to play, but it's kind of mid also, and it's kind of unfortunate because I loved Halo back in the day. I loved Halo Reach and Halo 3 and even the Master Chief Collection. I loved playing through that because it had like all of them except for 5. 5 was okay anyway. So it
yeah.
had all the important ones. And that was great. And then they come out with Halo Infinite and it's like very mid and
It's
it's
mid.
unfortunate.
It's so painfully mid. It really is unfortunate because like I don't know. I just feel like Xbox has a weird way of selling their stuff. You know what I mean? And it's like I understand. Like, it's so weird because like I would care if tomorrow Xbox surrounds that note we're copying Sony. We'll stop dropping cinematic games like, as exclusive and just go in that direction. I'm like, yeah, do that. It's just dude, it's like Marvel and DC, right? Marvel back in the day was popping the fuck off. You know what I mean? It was like the number one movie series in the box office every single year, right? And DC cannot catch a break. He dropped one movie and does semi well, but still ass. You know what I mean? And that's how it is with Microsoft and Sony. Microsoft and Sony, yeah. Sony is not perfect. Don't get me wrong here. I think Sony has a lot of issues with keeping everything in house, which is they can 100% do that. I have no issue with that whatsoever. But I feel like with Microsoft, they're over here like, oh, we want to keep everyone included. No one should not be able to play games and stuff like this. So, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, that's fantastic, but don't alienate your fucking own community. You know what I mean? Like, we as gamers, we support. I think Xbox could support more freedom in console. Like, give me a reason why to buy my Xbox. You know, give me a reason why I should go out right now and drop $550 $550 on a console right now. That's an Xbox and not a PlayStation. Because right now, I watched the Final Fantasy 16 trailer for PlayStation, the gameplay stuff and that, and I was like, I need to buy a PlayStation, you know, which is like
right.
it was disappointing. Cause like, and not disappointing, but it just sucks. It was like, I already bought Xbox. I want to buy a PlayStation right now. I want to save my money, but if I have to buy a PlayStation, to actually feel rewarded. You know what I mean? I feel like I'm actually getting something out of playing games now. And it's like, motherfucker, it's like, I don't want to buy a PlayStation, but I feel like I have to buy a PlayStation, you know? Because every single game, Hideo Kojima, Death Stranding, I bought a PlayStation, right? And I didn't play it much. I bought it. I left it alone like it clicked dust until like Spider-Man came out, until Death Stranding came out, Ghost of Tsushima came out, God of War, 2018 came out. All these games that defined the PlayStation to be a gaming giant because these games actually felt worthwhile to play and like watch, you know. And it's like yeah, they're not perfect because you know how much replayability. You know, I mean, you run through it, you witness everything, you do all the trophies. That's it. You know, like a multiplayer game, which Xbox is more leaning towards. It's multiplayer, which is understandable. But like, no one is asking you to fucking drop $7 billion on an Activision, who is a sinking ship as we speak. You know, and it's like, why not take that $7 billion you spent on Activision and go put it with people who have interesting ways that can develop verses and stuff like that. That's what we want as a community. That's what we want, but they don't want to because for some reason they didn't want the time or the effort to be like, oh, well, like I want to span. I think I want. That game was old as shit. Came out on PlayStation 2 and it stopped for a while. Got God of War 3 on PlayStation 3. Got remastered. God of War 3 got remastered on PlayStation. Then got the new 2018 God of War. The PlayStation 5 got the new God of War Ragnarok. Like, it expanded 3 generations of consoles, and Xbox can barely keep Halo afloat over 3 generations of consoles. You know what I mean? And just like it's crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy how much I don't want to be negative. I want to be positive because I think Xbox is a great company, but they have poor leadership. You know? I mean, there's this whole idea of offhand and no, I'm not touching the wheel. You guys take care of it. I trust you. I guess that's not working anymore. It's not working, and they really need to come back and understand that if these companies can't develop games for Xbox exclusive and be quality, there's something going on in the gaming division that they really need to hammer out, you know. And just dude, like, after this year, what are the next exclusives coming out? Like Fable or a Wall, what's it called? There's no like release dates or nothing. Like so, like Redfall and Cypher drop the mediocre at best. What else do we do now? And So it's like right now the place to be is PlayStation 5, which sucks. I want my Xbox. I love my Xbox. Well, god damn it, you know.
Yeah. I'm a big Xbox fan too, and it does suck because like even like I like seeing the
Mm-hmm.
like reveal, oh, they're making what is it called, Perfect Dark remake or
Yep.
reboot or whatever it is, and I'm excited because even though I'm not someone that actually grew up on Perfect Dark, I've played a little bit of like the original 2 to
Yeah.
understand like the hype behind, oh, this is gonna be cool, but like we don't know anything aside from a cinematic trailer we saw basically.
Ex- exactly. It
and
was
that
so weird.
and that was like super early on, it felt like, um
Mm-hmm.
so I don't know, I don't even know how to feel about new games. I like get excited, but I'm trying to restrain because of that, like where that we don't know enough to
Yeah.
even warrant the excitement aside from, oh, this is being made.
Dude, I'm more excited for Nintendo games than I am fucking for Xbox. I'm more excited for
Yeah, I agree.
Legends of Child of Tears. I mean, and that it charges $70 for that game, which still runs on the Switch hardware, which is looking kind of ass. I mean, but they still sell consoles and the games. It's crazy. Their consoles are so
Yeah, it's
underperforming.
so weird to think that like Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, they're amazing games. They run like ass,
They
but they're
look like
amazing.
ass.
And
Exactly.
like they sold tons.
Tons, dude. I'm telling you, Nintendo and Sony have the formula. What is it? Nintendo can make like great games with great compelling stories, like Legend of Zelda, like Mario, like Star Fox, or always the game. Metroid Prime, for example, remastered. No one asked for that, but it came out, and it blew the fuck out. And the hardware still runs like ass, so people still buy it. God, I got conned to buy the Legend of Zelda Tear of Kingdoms limited edition OLED. There's nothing different about the Switch. It's just the screen's improved. I don't play portable. So I was like, how do you do this to me, you know? So it's like, this is funny, you know what I mean?
Like I even thought about getting the OLED Switch, but I'm also hesitant to get it because I'm like holding out for the next Switch because I still have the original. But yeah, like I wanted to get the collector's edition, like Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom game, but that sold out in like seconds. So
Yeah, it's gone. It's just gone.
so
I
like that
wanted that
just
too.
speaks volumes to, how good you already know the Nintendo games are going to be because it's Nintendo. They know how to make a game that works on their console.
Exactly, and that's just it though. You said Pokemon Scarlet and Violet ran like shit, but people still bought it. It's the same thing with Sony. Sony got railed about Forspoken, how bad it was. You know what I mean? It was so bad, but Sony could take it on the chin because the lineup is insane. You know what I mean? With Xbox, I personally there are a few like these next two games, Starfield and Redfield. If they are ass, like mind you right now, if they're bad. Like I don't know if Xbox is coming back. You know what I mean? I don't think they're gonna go under
Yeah.
or that tomorrow they're gonna like they're gonna go away. I just feel like they're gonna cement themselves in history as the worst gaming company at the moment in the world right now. You know, because they cannot get a grip on the division. It's just
Yeah, like I
frustrating.
know I know when you were talking about like the Activision Blizzard deal with Xbox, I'm kind of excited to see where that goes, but I also know that like, for anybody that's been following it, um Xbox isn't trying to make the like Call of Duty or anything exclusive. Like clearly they're not going to do that cuz that would just be a bad business practice anyway. Like it would just make people upset at Xbox, and like I'm a person that does enjoy playing Call of Duty, so like I get the craziness over all of that. But yeah, I don't know. Do they really need to buy Activision Blizzard? No. Are they going to?
God,
They probably are going to go through with it. I'm pretty sure from the last thing I heard about it, it's probably well on its way to getting approved, which is, I mean, fine, that's fine. But like, make good games and do things with that acquisition that's gonna make things better for all the games that are underneath of that umbrella. Like, you need to be doing that with Bethesda. You need to be doing that with all of the different game
mm.
companies underneath of your umbrella. You know?
Oh, 100%. That's so. You hit the nail on the head. Cause like, did Microsoft really need to buy Activision? Not. I don't understand why they. I don't understand why they bought it, but they bought it. All right. And I'm hoping Activision somehow pulls through and like somehow fixes up the reputation and actually makes really great games again. Cause like right now, like Activision is getting sued left and right for like workplace harassment, like it's really crazy shit. And now it's like Microsoft is like, yeah, we're gonna buy into this company. That's the perfect time to buy a gaming company that's like filled with lawsuits now, which is amazing. But
Right.
I don't know. I just like I feel like now I'm just waiting for something to happen. You know what I mean? Either Xbox
Yeah.
fucking takes Starfield Redfall and shoots to the stars and they make it to the moon, or they miss the mark entirely and they crash and burn. You know? So we
Yeah.
can only hope.
Yeah.
I'm only hoping right now.
Yeah, I think the only reason, if I remember correctly, they were trying to acquire them is mostly to get into the mobile game market more, or like cloud gaming. I can't remember which one it was. Maybe it's both, but
It's a
um
cloud gaming, yeah.
yeah, whatever the case may be, if it goes through, great. If not, whatever, like hopefully they just continue to improve moving forward. And I think that's a good segue to kind of move into some more fun news. I don't know if you follow any of this, Spencer, but as far as movie announcements, going kind of back to movies, uh, Five Nights at Freddy's movies kind of an exciting topic to go
Dude,
over.
we're bringing that up. I'll tell you right now, I've never played a Five Nights at Freddy's game ever in my entire life. But the only
Right.
reason why I'm interested in this movie is because of Matthew Leonard's gonna be in it. He's the voice actor, the actor who played Shaggy in the old Scooby Doo
Oh yeah,
movie.
he's playing William Afton. He's the purple guy, right?
I don't know, but I was like, is he if he's gonna be in it? I'm game.
Yeah, I know everything I've heard about this. Me and Alyssa have watched plenty of videos of like the updates on like it's coming out, and I think it's coming out in October, so it'll be a Halloween movie, which will be cool. And the animatronics, from what I've seen, uh like you can see bits and pieces and different photos from a well-known animatronic company that does stuff for movies and like costumes and things, and they look really good and they look like straight out of the game, like, but in real life. And so I
That's
think
awesome.
that's it's it's so cool to see that kind of stuff. It kind of goes back to when I was talking about the like video game movies are just getting better and better as they go. Because like that, you never would have thought you would see a Five Nights at Freddy's movie, like an indie game that blew up because of its like super.
Yeah, it's such a super like, fat following. Like it's crazy. Like personally, I
Yeah.
never seen the appeal of it, but every time I turn on YouTube or anything like that, find out some phrase, find out some phrase. I'm like, this is actually I have to watch this movie because I'm actually pretty excited to see what's going on.
Yeah, I know. And Markiplier second. Markiplier is making a movie based off of like a, I forget how much it's worth, but a video game that is called Iron Lung. and it's like a super cheap indie game about like a submarine on an alien planet that has no windows, and he's making a movie, like a actual
Mm.
feature length film about this game. And the trailer, for anyone that hasn't watched it, go to Markiplier's channel and check out the Iron Lung trailer. It is so cool for so short it is, and I can't wait to see where that goes. And I can't wait for more video game movies to come out, because like I said, everything is improving. Video games are getting better, and it's just a matter of time before things are so lifelike that you don't recognize it's not real life. Like I don't know if you've heard of Unrecorded. It's a video game coming out that is
Mm.
like chest cam footage video game, but it looks
Okay.
so lifelike that it's hard to distinguish. Like you'd have to be very nitpicky and see, oh well, the lighting here, you can kind of tell it's a video game. But like other than that, like if you're just looking at like a screenshot of the game, you could swear it's just a photo.
Really?
Yeah,
Dude,
like
I want to watch this right now. It's so bad. Oh
let
god.
me pull up an example here. Unrecorded game. Okay, here we go. Let me pull up this here. Yeah. Okay. So we're gonna
Oh
do.
yeah.
Yeah. Do you see?
It's the one that's super realistic and people are like, yeah, this isn't real. This isn't a video game. This is real life.
Yeah, like let me
Dude, I saw this. I 100% thought this was real. I 100% thought this was uh a real movie. I mean, like a movie or something like that. And then like I saw seeing like things come on Twitter where like people at the devs were showing off like how it didn't find through walls and stuff like that. Dude, this is sick. I'm actually pretty excited. So is this a real game that's coming out or no?
yeah, like if you just look at the screenshot, like this is crazy looking. Like
Dude,
this is
it's
just
too
it looks like a
real.
photo.
Dude, that's what I'm talking. I was like someone just standing like a little factory with the camera on their chest, which is
Yeah.
nuts.
Yeah, anyone who hasn't seen that needs to check out the trailer for it. It's wild and I
Check
can't
it
wait to
out
see. I think it's a
as
PC
soon.
only, but oh my
Understandable. This
god.
will melt the Series X on a PlayStation 5. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. This will melt this console. This it looks way too real. Like, I put the trailer now on my second screen. I'm like, I never watched the whole thing. I watched snippets of it because I was like a fake game. It's insane. Dude, I gotta play this. I want to play it. I need to buy a PlayStation PC now
I
too.
know. I know.
Jeez, I
Um,
wonder what, how many. I wonder if I need like two 4080s right now to run this game. Like, oh God,
yeah.
that's crazy. That's stupid nuts. But I can for unrecorded is coming to PC. Oh my
Okay.
God,
Well, did you have anything else you wanted to go over before we close out today?
I do. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, SGS Interactive. I make 100% gaming videos.
Okay. All
Um,
right.
I'm making a bunch of content, some of that this year. If you're ready for that, I appreciate being here. Listen to it. I love you all.
Yeah, and subscribe to Spencer SGS Interactive and Alyssum Goddess on Twitch and Moose Madness 361 on Twitch and YouTube if you can, because we're gonna be posting content there. Um, so stay
Content.
tuned for all of that.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah, absolutely. So if any and no one else has anything else to go over today, I think this was a nice and chill episode of the podcast. So for anyone that
Mhm.
is interested in our content moving forward. We're going to be trying to post these every Sunday. And so that'll be around, I'd say around late late at night Eastern time, maybe around 10. But if it doesn't get posted on Sundays, it'll probably be posted on Mondays because we're recording on Sunday right now. So everybody look forward to that. But thank you all for listening, and I hope you have a lovely rest of your night.
Take care.